They came out talking in the past. Everything was in the past. And my husband was like, so are you saying my son didn't make it? And that's the last thing I heard from that point. I think I lost it. And that's the worst day of my life.
So this is Blair's clothes that I chose to donate to this project. This is his Sean John coat. It was in his locker when he got killed. His dad brought it back to me.
This is just a nothing jersey. Doesn't particularly represent anything, but I kept it so long because it had that, you know, it had that smell that was him. He was a strong little person. He was a person that had, you know, his own mind made up, and he was very determined he was going to be a successful skateboarder. I had to build this ramp, you know. I had to take shots of him filming while he was doing the skateboard and send it off to some skateboard magazine.
How many people are gonna die before America says, we gotta do something about this? I don't know. I guess I would have thought a long time ago that we would have already reached that point.
What I want you to do is, on the count of 3, I want you to say your baby name, your son, your daughter, your sister, your brother, your mother, your father, whomever you lost, say their name all together. 1, 2, 3. Terrell.
Hello, my name is Terrell Bobby. The name of my speech is Most of All.
Terrell loved life. He loved people. He loved life. And actually, he had braces on at this time because he wanted to get his teeth straight. So we paid for that. And actually, he didn't really get a chance to, you know, enjoy it because after he got him off, he was killed a year later.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire. Jack Frost nipping at your nose.
Terrell used to sing, we used to sing in the car. I'll sing and he'll sing and we'll make harmony. And he'll be like, "Mom, that's not your key." And I'm like, "That is my key. I taught you how to sing. How you gonna tell me how to sing?" We took him to a pawn shop and bought a bass guitar. And from that moment on, Terrell was good. He could listen to music and just play it.
I know that a gunman banged in through the door and he walked onto the stage and first thing he did was shot the instructor. And that's when people scattered, you know, they ran for their lives and Ryan dropped to the ground between 2 rows of seats and stayed there until somebody shouted, "He's reloading." And that's when she got up and ran and he pulled out another gun. And he walked up and down the aisle shooting people with his handgun.
Most people, they go to baby shower, right? You get like a $20 present or a gift card. Jitka came to my house when I was out of town for work and cleaned my house from stem to stern, organized the whole thing so I could come home and relax and have the baby. And that's just Jitka. I like to keep Jitka really close to me. So I keep this one because it's my favorite picture of her. Because you can really see her light shining in this picture. This is the one that I have that really you look at her and you say, oh, look, it's Gidget. Because she's so cute, you want to put her in your pocket and you just don't ever want to let her go. And people should know who she is.
Now, I know that many of you have already dealt with some serious losses in your lives. Maybe someone in your family lost a job or struggled with drugs or alcohol or an illness. Maybe you've lost someone you love, someone you desperately wish could be here with you tonight. And I know that many of you are thinking about Haidia right now and feeling the hole that she's left in your hearts.
This is actually what played at her wake. And I actually never played it until right now. Haidia is super funny. She was a friend to people in a lot of different capacities. She was friends to people that had no other friends.
She was a kid that could engage you in a conversation and make you forget she was a kid. She was special.
Blair was really outgoing. Every time we get his report card or something, he would get great grades, but at the bottom in the comment section, Blair talks too much. Tell him to stop talking so much. He disrupts the class. He keeps the class laughing.
Blair saved a young lady, one of his classmates that day, and the other 4 people did live. The other 4 kids lived. Traumatized, of course, traumatized.
In the last few years, when I go to a high school graduation, and part of the program of a high school graduation is remembering kids in that class that got killed, when did we become that kind of a society?
I remember kind of collapsing in that room where I was sitting. Then when I finally went in and identified him, he had that little, it was just a really kind of cool little look on his face, like almost like a little smile, that it's okay. But that was kind of the chaos, I think. I think the good news is he was, I think, died instantly and didn't suffer a lot.
You know, they kept coming out saying, he's fighting, and I'm like, come on, Blair, you can make it. And they came out and said he didn't make it. He fought, but didn't make it. So.
And I just kept saying, man. I said, I just talked to you. How did this happen? How could it happen?
Her murderer, he went onto a website, found somebody who was willing to sell him a .40 caliber handgun with no questions asked. He was hiding behind a dumpster, waiting for her, and she was shot twice. She started running back into the museum, and she got about 18 feet before she couldn't run anymore. And then her killer came up to her and shot her 10 more times.
The one thing that was most important for me to do was to spend as much time as I could with her before it was time for her to go. And so, like in that alone time, I talked to her and told her, I just don't want you to worry about us thinking, you know, we're not gonna be okay. I'd rather you be at peace than worry about us.
I chose this because this is Terrell's style. Hopefully he'll be happy with it.
A new art exhibit called The Unforgotten is drawing attention to gun violence in Chicago and across the state.
The statues are silent, but they tell the story of innocent lives lost. Dressed in the clothing of each of the victims, but faceless, the statues represent how quickly someone can be ripped from their life by gun violence.
You know, the only thing we work toward is making sure that no other families have to deal with this again. And that's the hardest part of this, because the more we work, there's always someone else who joins this unfortunate club that nobody wants to be a part of.
From every family who never imagined that their loved one would be taken from our lives by a bullet from a gun. Every time I think about those kids, it gets me mad. And by the way, it happens on the streets of Chicago every day.
1,163 individuals have been shot in Chicago since January 1st. That's nearly 7 people a day. That's unacceptable.
Chicago has one of the country's highest rates of homicide by gun violence, and the violence takes a particular toll on communities of color. Despite having some of the nation's strictest gun laws, the city struggles to keep firearms from flooding in.
We have to stop the flow of guns that's coming into our city, that's killing our black kids. Just this year, we had 1,700 people shot and 290 homicides. We have to do something about the gun flows that's taking over our neighborhoods.
Weaved into all this issue is race and class. So until we understand that whether it's a young child in Newtown or it's a young child in the south side of Chicago, it's a child. That this is an American issue. We are American citizens.
If the same death rate were going on with the 15-year-olds and the adolescents in Highland Park, we would change the laws real quickly.
Is it going to take it, your child dying, before it becomes an issue to you? But gun violence has keys and cars. It's going to go anywhere.
We put this together on behalf of our children. First, it started off with one, and then we had to add on another wall to it.
How do we keep firearms out of the possession of dangerous people? How do we do that?
Somewhere between a gun manufacturer and a crime scene, someone in that chain of custody is not a law-abiding gun owner. Somewhere there's a straw purchaser, somewhere there's a dealer that's selling to people the dealer shouldn't sell to. We've got to figure out that break in the chain and focus like a laser on that.
So if you stop the easy access to guns, to the illegal guns on the street, if you cut that off, That means there's less guns being sold, which means then gun manufacturers make less guns, which means there's less money they get, which less money they can pay the NRA lobby with. So it's all about business. It's all about business. You know, the hell with the people dying.
You can't pass a law that will stop every crime. But to say, well, we can't pass background checks because it's not going to stop every gun murder is like saying, well, we shouldn't pass laws against stealing because it's not going to stop everybody from robbing a bank or shoplifting from the grocery market. It's nonsensical.
There's a really simple solution, and I think it's so ridiculously simple. You treat a gun like it's an automobile. That's all you have to do.
If I have a car and I give it to you and I don't transfer the title, and you're in an accident, I'm responsible because it's still my car. Well, if we can do that with cars, why can't we do that with guns?
I'm glad that we're going to Springfield. I've been looking forward to coming down here and bringing our children. It's our babies. Yeah, exactly. We follow them wherever they go because they're a part of us. They still Terrell and Blair.
It's so frustrating that there is this dehumanizing aspect to gun violence in the city. These are kids, these are people, these are moms and dads. They're real breathing human beings with souls. To write them off as being in the wrong place at the wrong time, living in the wrong neighborhood, it's horrible. We have to humanize those folks. We have to think of them as our own children, our own parents, our own brothers and sisters.
It's really important to not forget them because we should continue to tell their story to keep their spirit alive.
Connecting our loss with what we do becomes a very healing way and courageous way to go after the enemy of gun and gun violence and give my life and my energy and my heart and my soul to save another child.
We cannot forget it. It keeps us connected with, in this case, it keeps me connected with my son. That I'm trying to make the world a little better for others, so other kids and families don't have to go through this. That's something. That's something that I feel I have to do.
The way I choose to deal with it is by making people never forget her. So, any chance I get to talk about her, I will.
It's not how long you live, but it's how did you live that's important. And we thank God for the short time he was here, but we trust in the Lord, amen?
And one of the most powerful things about, this particular project is it's realizing, wow, Terrell Bosley is real, Hadia is real, Blair is real. And the visual of those in their clothes hopefully reminds everybody these are lives, not just statistics and numbers that you can flip through your brain. You should be unnerved and unsettled and uncomfortable when you look at those. Because if you're not, you've lost some of your soul.